Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about scams. I love budgeting. I love saving money, and it gives me like euphoria. Budgeting. I don't know why, but that's just the truth. And what gives me the opposite of euphoria is thinking about how many innocent people are losing their hard-earned money to these scams, and I hate them. And I know like it's hard out here, but you don't need to be scamming people out of their hard-earned money. So there's levels to these scams. LOL. Multi-level marketing is where we're going to begin. But so I might get around. There's a lot of different kinds of scams, and a lot of different kinds of scams that I love talking about and like warning people about. So I might have to make another video after this one if I don't get to everything that I wanted to talk about. And I'm sure like more different kinds of scams will come to me. I'm going to start talking about multi-level marketing, which I have a big old story time with, because not only did my mom get wrapped up in a multi-level marketing scheme for like a couple of months when I was younger, but so did my first boyfriend, who ended up cheating on me with somebody he met at that multi-level marketing scam. No names, obviously, but it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny at this point to talk about how that was so silly. It was so silly because it was also like I was getting double scammed pretty much, if you think about it, with that. Even though I wasn't in it, but he was. And I was like, And I ended up going to one of the meetings that they had. So I got all the scoops. But let's get into MLM. So what is an MLM? It is multi-level marketing. It is technically a legal pyramid scheme. So it's the scheme where a pyramid scheme is like only the person at the top is getting paid, and then they recruit, and then everybody is paying the top to be in this group, right? So all the money flows from the bottom up, and then it continues to grow because the whole business model is recruit more people to be in this business, to get more people in this business to pay up into the business, right? So you're incentivized to get more people under you so that you can make money off of them, and then the people that are above you make money off of you, and they make money off of everybody underneath you, and it's all this huge big triangle scam. But a multi-level marketing is like a business model that swings through the loopholes of like, because I think a pyramid scheme in its simplest forms is illegal, but they always say it's not illegal. This is what we're doing. It's just a business model. So that's fine. It's not. It's actually horrible. They target individuals that they know are desperate. They target people just out of high school that aren't going to college, or they might just not know what they want to do with their lives. They target single moms, new moms, poor people who are desperate for money. People might have just gotten out of prison. They target people like that. And it is horrible because you really only think about these kinds of schemes when you're really, really looking for side hustle income. You're hoping for the promise of an actual job. You really need a job, and you're desperate. And this is where they get you. And it's horrible that they do that. It really is. So I'll just story time and explain like what happened with my experience with these MLMs, just to expose how they actually don't follow through with any of their promises. And also statistically, I'll zoop that statistic on the screen. 98% of people who ever get into these schemes, it has been proven statistically, will lose money. Because it is a scam. And that is not, they say so many different talking points about how it's not a scam, how even the way it's set up, like it's like a normal job. The CEO makes more money than everybody else, right? And they're taking money out of your labor, which is true, but there's also a product. There's a service or product that is being performed that actually provides capital to the company, unlike the MLMs. So sometimes there's a product. So I'll start with my mom, for example. There was a product. There were these 31 proverbs. It was called 31. And it was like, also they take people who have a religious affiliation, and they also target those people, which is also very troubling and sad. So they targeted my mom. They said, hey, we're a religious company. We're not going to harm you. We're not going to take all your money, right? So this lady is like, you should sell these bags under me. And what you'll do is you'll sell these bags to people. You'll put little door hangers on apartment complex doors saying, hey, reach out to me. Here's all my contact information. And I'll sell you these little bags that look like shit, that are pretty ugly. Okay, to be honest. But maybe it was the times. It was like 2012. Maybe it was like 20. Yeah, it was like 2012. And it's like, okay, well, maybe some people would buy these bags. Their bags are like $45 plus up to like $150 for a whole set. So you'll have like a big old tote bag, a little purse bag, just all kinds of bags with all these kinds of little patterns, and you get to have your name embellished on it, right? Or like whatever saying you want embellished, and you just sign up, you just write a little form for what you want at the little party, and you send it off, and you get your special little bag for like $40-$50 when you could get probably a cuter bag at Walmart for like $20. That was the scam. So, but of course, you could have your big parties. So the premise was, my mom, this lady, said, hey, lady, you should sell these bags. You'll be in my group under me. I'll always be there for you to help you through this new business venture. And you might become so confident one day that you will have people under you where you help them with their business venture, and they will be selling the same bags. 2 problems. Well, and then, but in the meantime, so before they didn't exactly encourage her, I don't believe, to immediately start having people underneath her. I think the first step was her having regular selling parties. So the premise was she would get all these bags to sell, and she would sell them at these parties. Now, I believe we didn't immediately become homeless, okay? Because I don't think they made her pre-bulk order all these bags, though they may have, because I think she had a couple of samples, right? So she may have, I can't talk to her to ask her, hey, did you actually give them money to start? Was there a starting fee? I think there was. Was it like exuberant? I don't know, because she didn't stay with it for long, thankfully. There could have been, I think the issue was she had to become a member perhaps and like keep up a monthly membership fee to be a certified seller. Like that's how they get you too. Sometimes it's not the bulk purchase of the products because they're personalized, right? These bags were personalized. That was the shtick. It was like, you'll get your name embellished or your dog's name on this little dog bag or whatever. And it was all personalized. So I think maybe she bought some sample products and she had like a membership fee to be a seller, which was the shtick where they got you, because they're never making money off of the actual bags they're selling to random people. They're making money off of the people who are trying to sell the bags. That is the actual business plan, is they will sell bags sometimes, but they're really making money off the people trying to sell the bags. So the premise was she would have these sample bags and she would invite all of her friends and family to come to these little parties, eat some snacks, and then all she would need would be 2 or 3 people to sign up for a personalized ugly tote bag. And then she would make her money back for the month from the certification of the fee of you have to pay this membership fee to be a seller or whatever. Then she'd make her money back, and then every party she had after that was just extra income for her, right? First and only party she ever hosted after paying all these fees, I assume. Nobody showed up because my mom didn't have a million friends who wanted to. What friends? We're not even going to parties out. What? You know, like if we sat down, if she wasn't desperate for money, she probably would have sat down and thought, well, gee, I don't go to parties. I don't really have like a bunch of friends that are just going to come over for snacks like that. Like 15 freaking people that are also like have kids and have lives and are busy as hell. Maybe the couple of friends that I have, to also just force them to buy bags all the time that they don't need. So like even if you had 10 friends and family who were close by that would all buy a bag from you, that's it. So eventually you're going to just start running into an issue of, well, gee, how many friends do I need? And then you start getting into ethical issues where you're perhaps going to Facebook and looking through your friends list of people you haven't talked to in 15, 20 years or 5 years at the time and saying, well, gee, maybe Shelly from high school wants to buy a bag even though I don't like her. So that's where the meme, as it were, of people, old friends reaching out and saying, hey, you busy? You want to buy a thing from me so I can feed my family? Because it's a scam. People at the top of this company know that it's not a long-term thing. Eventually, they're just going to start paying this membership fee and holding out hope that all those little door placards they're placing out everywhere and trying to get into conversations at the Walmart about, hey, I have this bag. You want to buy this bag? Or you want to sign up to get this personalized bag? You know, it's never going to work out long term. So they're actual. And also, the other issue, I think that's the first issue, like, where are these friends at for all these parties where you're selling these personalized bags at with these forms for these personalized bags? It's not even like selling Girl Scout cookies, which is here's the packet of cookies you can eat right now, and you'll eat them, you'll want more. That's more of a service and a product that's a real, like, yes, they have little Girl Scouts selling them everywhere, but you eat them and they're gone, and you want more. Like, it's a product you can use. It's not a bag you'll buy once maybe, and it's ugly, and it's like not even, it doesn't even make sense. So they know this. They know it's not sustainable as a business. They know that. You are the mark. She was the mark. My mom was the mark. They preyed on a mom who maybe she lost her job and she was trying to make ends meet, and they preyed upon her and they used religion to say, hey, I'm not a scam, but they really were. And that's horrible. And it's a scam. Luckily, she didn't stay in it for too long. I think it was like a summer venture of hers, but I'm pretty sure it made us worse by the end. And it also like deflated my mom's confidence of like feeling like she had no friends, when it's really like nobody had the time to just come to a snack party. Like, it's not a birthday. It's not like an event. Nobody had the time to just come out to like this sell a bag party. But it made her feel like she had nobody. And that's horrible. And I hate them for that. So, F you, 31. I hope you've got under by now. But I think they have. So, the next example I have is funnier than my poor mother. So that was like, I didn't really get, with my mom, I didn't get all the details. I didn't really get what was going on. I was a little young. I was like, also they had this thing about they're not sharing finances with me. They never shared finances with me, which is why maybe I'm like all about sharing finances now, because it's like being in the dark. doesn't help anybody. That's my whole motto now. So, story time about the second example of MLM scheme that I got caught up in just a little bit with my ex. So one day he's looking for work. He's not going to college, just graduated high school. I don't know why, like, he ended up getting other jobs that made more sense. But for some reason, he was feeling like he needed to do this thing because they promised this, like, freshly graduated high school boy the world. They promised him, you're going to be rich from this. You're going to never have to work again after a couple years of really grinding. And it's all going to come true. Every dream you've ever had. That's essentially what they promised with this company. So this company wasn't as much of a, we have products you can sell kind of company. It was more so a, like, we're going to teach you how to lead and be a leader and be a business person. So you'll always have these skills, but you'll need to pay money to come to our big conference, and you'll need to come to our meetings and pay to come to our meetings every week. Buy these CDs so you can listen to these CDs constantly, and you'll learn how to be a business leader and get ahead in life, and then you'll be rich. Like, that was the scam. So there was something to sell, and it was very complicated. So I'm going to go through the experience of, I was invited to one of these meetings. Of course I was. Now, I was sketched out from it from the get-go, and I'll go through that whole thing. So I go to this hotel. This is where they have their meetings every Wednesday. And he didn't invite me sooner because he started cheating on me with somebody he met there, or relationship blossomed, where I think they may have known each other before, but they saw each other at this MLM. They were like, gosh darn, had to have a little affair, which, looking back now, is like so funny. Why did I stay another year? Anyway, so he was actually not inclined to bring me to these MLM meetings. I think I asked to go because I was like, what is going on at these meetings? Because he was telling people, I'm making money, and I knew he wasn't. So I was like, what is going on? What are you supposed to sell? Because I was always very confused. Because I'm like, you're in a business, you're learning things, okay, but it's supposed to be a job. It's not like a course where you're taking classes and you're learning things like day to day. Because I think I would have supported something that was at least honest enough to say this is a business class or something, where at least it had an end date and you could say, well, from start to finish, I learned this, and it worked or it didn't. Like, yeah, maybe it still would have been a scam, but at least it had an end date in sight, and you could qualify what you learned, and it wasn't just this big ambiguous, like, just keep going, you'll learn something eventually kind of deal. But he was supposed to sell stuff, so I was so confused. I'm like, where are these products? Where's the business part? Like, it's supposed to be a job. So, like, where's the income? Where's the time? You're at least spending every Wednesday, and every random person that you have an acquaintance with, where we're walking around town, you're like, hey, do you want to check out this link I have? It was very complicated. So what they were supposed to sell was, and I believe they explained it in the same way at the meeting. They were like, you have this link, and this is why we're not a scam. They kept saying this. So I was like, I mean, I guess, like, it was like reasonable enough in the moment when you're sitting in the chair and they're projecting this huge, like, thing to you. They're like, well, we're not a scam because we have this website where everybody has their own website, your URL, okay? And this is how you're going to make money. You're going to go and tell people to go to your little website, and then they're going to buy Coca-Cola products through your website. and you're going to get a portion of the proceeds and you're going to be rich, was one of the ways. So they had all these different like products on there. Coca-Cola, name brands. They would say name brands. Why would these name brands work with us if we were a scam? And I don't really know if they even knew they were using them, to be honest. I mean, looking back, it was like it was this random website with these random links that you would go and you would, like, it would be the middleman to buy household products, like random Coca-Cola, like, I don't remember exactly, maybe it's like Pizza Hut coupons, I don't know. But it was random name brand. It was random name brand stuff on this website where they would have a link to, and nobody's going to do that. Nobody's purchasing things off of links off of a middleman website to get Coca-Cola products, you know? But they made it seem like that was the big deal, right? Like that was a big deal. And then that was your sell. And I think they had like they maybe had like one random Powerade thing that they would, oh, you can sell these Powerades to people like in person, or some random stuff, just random stuff, probably Temu stuff from before we knew what Temu was. You know what I mean? Just random stuff like that would just Powerade type drinks that would just sit in the back of his car that I assume he had to pay for to get in the first place or something. But it was, you know, random stuff. And that was what they were saying. Like, you'll use this website and these links, and that's how we're not a scam, because why would Coca-Cola be a scam? Well, I don't think they even knew you were using their links. Like, to be honest, like, I don't know. They also used nationalism to say, we're not a scam. So the big guy who was the leader of that distribution, the area of Virginia that we were in, he was like the leader. He was like, I am a veteran and I have 7 kids. So why would I scam you? I love my country and I think everybody should be prosperous and be able to have 7 kids also and be able to provide for them. So I would not scam you. That was essentially the whole meeting. Now then, for like background on the people behind the scam, the people behind LTD, that was what it was. And then I think the other portion of the whole meeting was about the diamond level, so-and-so level, you can rise in the ranks part of the scheme, where it's like the classic Amway, like I think they were Amway Junior, pretty much is what it was. So it was 3 portions. It was, here's the link website. We also will sell you business CDs and conferences and forums. So you'll come to the conferences, you'll pay to be at the conferences, and we'll discount the first one for you because we love you, pretty much. And it's like, you'll come to the conferences, you'll learn how to be a business person, and you'll meet all these people that are so rich and they've done it through us, and that's how you're going to be rich too. And then it was like, and then you'll become a leader, so you'll have people under you, and then you'll become Black Star level 75, and that's when you know you'll be making this much money a year for sure. And that was pretty much the whole meeting. I wish I could have recorded it back in the day. I wish I had like taken active notes, but it was very much like there was an overtone of like, you need to do exactly what we say, don't judge you, like very cult-like, just from the get-go, very cult-like. And so I know it was very cult-like because there was a portion that I couldn't go to. So it was like long, like it's also like the sunk cost fallacy, where I spent like 2 hours on a Wednesday afternoon at this meeting in this hotel, and then there was a break for snacks, and then I had to go because I was like, this is my curfew now, I can't stay, and I also don't care to stay, and I knew like I didn't like it, but they knew that they needed to get me for the full time because it wouldn't be as convincing until we stayed for like the full 5 hours. And then you were really convinced. And I think they probably would have pressured me to sign up in some way. So they had my contact information. But I got out of it in two ways. One, I was like, my parents sick. I got to go home and take care of my mom. I don't think that was true, but I just knew I didn't want to stay. And they were like really pressuring me to stay for the second portion. And then I think they were like, well, we need your contact information to contact you or something. And I think I was like, oh, you can talk to my boyfriend through me. Like I'll always be here because he's there, right? So I'll always be there. Haha. But yeah, I had to leave. So luckily I left. And yeah, he never, as far as I know, never made a dime. Never made a single dime off of that. I'm pretty sure they at least made him pay for the weekly meetings when he had no income at all. So it was like a lost money. And he got very upset anytime I tried to say, like, I sent him the John Oliver video, which I highly recommend. That's probably how I'll end this video. How did I talk about MLMs for 30 minutes nearly? Crazy. But I guess this is part one of scams. So I ended up sending him the John Oliver video. He was mad about that. He was like, we're not talking about that. Because like he didn't want to talk about how it was a scam. Like he wanted to believe he would be rich just from this and he'll learn to be a business guy. And like, as much as I think it's fair to say, like I've shown they target women majorly for sure, but they also target men. And it's important to stay aware of this scam because it can ruin people's lives. Like I highly recommend watching the John Oliver video episode about MLMs because they really can ruin people's lives. And just be aware. Like if they have a product that you want to sell on the side, gone is the day of door-to-door salesmen for vacuums, okay? Because Amazon exists. Please remember that Amazon exists. Walmart exists. People don't need to buy things from you. If you have your own small business on Etsy that you are passionate about and you want to do, that's great. That's not a scam. What's a scam is someone coming to you where you have no interest in leggings or handbags or Powerade drinks and saying you can be rich if you sell these Powerade drinks, when it's like someone who's extremely passionate about making, maybe crocheting stuffed animals for children and having their own website, and they made everything by hand and they made it by scratch, might not even become rich from that. You think you're going to become rich from something you have no interest in, no passion about, before someone's trying to sell you on the idea of becoming rich when they don't even care about the actual product. It's like, you just need to sell this and then you'll get rich. It's like a fucking scam, bro. It's a fucking scam. Please don't be scammed. Peace, bro. Peace. Like, don't be a scam. Don't be a scam. Take it from me. Like, I'm so glad that now I'm with somebody who, if he went into a scam and I said, hey, this is a scam, he would take a step back and believe me. So grateful.